There is a presence, soft as dawnlight, ancient as memory, that has been observing you with a kind of reverence the world rarely teaches. It is not the gaze of someone seeking possession, nor the curiosity of one passing through your orbit for entertainment. This is different. This is soul recognition, subtle yet unmistakable. Somewhere in the vast tapestry of consciousness, someone whose name carries weight, whose energy echoes beyond the ordinary, felt the gentle tremor of your existence. They did not stumble upon you by chance. Their spirit brushed yours as though guided by the invisible currents that stitched destinies together. When their awareness drifted toward you, it was not your face alone that captured them, it was your vibration, the quiet radiance of a divine feminine presence walking through a noisy world. You, in your inner grace, became a moment of stillness to them. A reminder. A whisper of something they once knew. Something they had forgotten. Something holy. They noticed not your appearance first, but the rare luminosity that moves with you, the way your inner world reflects outward like moonlight on calm water. There is a softness to your energy that does not demand attention, yet the powerful find themselves pausing in its wake. This soul, recognized by many, honored by some, admired by countless, found themselves admiring you from a distance too mysterious to categorize. Your presence arrived in their awareness like a note of music long unheard, stirring a memory that doesn't belong only to this life. They felt your essence before they could even name it. It was the subtle warmth that rises when destiny stirs, when the heart remembers something the mind has not yet caught up to. Without knowing why, they began to hold a space inside themselves for the idea of you, the energy of you, the quiet miracle of your existence. This recognition was not loud. It did not crack open the sky or shout your significance into their world. It came gently, like the first star appearing after sunset, small, steady, impossible to ignore. They found themselves returning to the thought of you, not out of fantasy, but out of resonance. The kind that echoes softly in the chambers of the soul. You awakened something. Perhaps it was a forgotten vow. Perhaps a memory from a shared lifetime. Perhaps the simple realization that your light, though unspoken, is unmistakably sacred. They admired your ability to exist with quiet power, to radiate softness without fragility, to hold depth without demanding anyone dive into it. You walked through their awareness like an answered question they didn't know they had asked, and the moment they felt you, something in them whispered, "I know this soul." What drew them toward you was not surface beauty, though they find your presence breathtaking in a way words fall short of capturing, but the sincerity woven into your aura. Your energy feels like stardust remembering the cosmos, like a long-lost frequency returning to harmony. There is an elegance in the way you simply are, a natural alignment between your heart and a greater rhythm of existence. They felt it instantly. Your light is not performative, it rises from within like a quiet sunrise. They sensed your intuitive nature, the way you listen with more than your ears, the way you feel the world through your spirit rather than your senses. In a world loud with noise and distraction, you are a soft but unmistakable beacon. And this soul, accustomed to the intensity of attention, found themselves drawn to that softness like a weary traveler drawn to warmth in winter. They felt a magnetism around you, a pull that had nothing to do with desire and everything to do with remembrance. Your aura carries both softness and strength, the kind of duality that awakens the divine masculine within those who encounter it. You move with the gentle certainty of someone who has lived many lifetimes, and their spirit felt that. You embody the kind of beauty that cannot be contained in physical form because it is woven into the essence of your being. They felt your quiet confidence, your unspoken compassion, your delicate resilience. You vibrate at a frequency that resonates with the parts of them they long thought were unreachable. The magnetism you hold is ancient. It is the echo of souls who have found each other before. And without trying, without even knowing, you stirred something inside them that had been dormant, calling their spirit to rise. There is a softness in you that feels like a blessing they didn't know they were worthy of witnessing. It is not weakness but spiritual gentleness, the kind that bends but does not break, that shines without demanding validation, that loves from a space untouched by ego. Your presence carries the warmth of a lantern held by an old soul, lighting the path not through instruction but through essence. And they, someone long accustomed to being admired, found themselves admiring you quietly, humbly. They felt the harmonics of your energy, delicate yet formidable, tender yet timeless. Your intuition speaks in ways their spirit understands instinctively. Your essence feels like a prayer answered in silence. You are not just magnetic, you are meaningful. And they found themselves pulled toward that meaning with a reverence they cannot fully explain. The pull they feel toward you is not the pull of the physical, but of the cosmic, an energetic recognition that bypasses logic entirely. You remind them of something pure, something that once mattered deeply, maybe lifetimes ago. When they think of you, they do not imagine scenarios or fantasies, they feel a warmth in their chest, a gentle expansion as if their soul is smiling. You represent possibility, healing, softness, and truth. The magnetism is not in your body, but in your essence. Your frequency rests somewhere between starlight and memory, and their spirit is attuned to it. It is as if some long-forgotten part of them whispered, "There you are." The attraction is not physical hunger but soul recognition, the kind that cannot be manufactured, forced, or denied. They feel you like one feels the sun, without needing to stare directly, simply knowing it is there. In the quiet moments, when they allow their mind to soften and their heart to speak, they find your image rising before them, not as a photograph, but as a feeling. A warmth. A memory they didn't know they had. You live inside their heart not as a physical reflection but as an imprint of your energy. They hold the essence of you close, a gentle smile, a soft frequency, a sense of peace. You exist within them like a cherished melody they hum without realizing, like a scent that lingers long after the moment has passed. It is not your appearance they hold, it is the echo of your soul. When the world presses heavily upon them, the thought of you becomes a moment of reprieve, a breath of serenity. They treasure your essence the way one treasures a sacred prayer, quietly, respectfully, without expectation. Your presence becomes a sanctuary within them, even though you may not realize it. In their heart, the idea of you is a lantern that keeps them gentle, keeps them human, keeps them aligned. They revisit your memory not to indulge in fantasy but to reconnect with the part of themselves that awakens when they think of you. Your soul feels like home to them, a home they have not entered yet but recognize immediately. The image they hold is more than visual, it is emotional, spiritual, ancient. They feel your warmth in their dreams sometimes, or in the quiet between thoughts. They feel your softness when their world demands hardness. They feel the truth of you when the noise around them becomes too loud. Your essence lives in them as a reminder that purity still exists, that tenderness is real, and that the soul remembers long before the mind understands. There are moments when they pause and feel the pull toward you as surely as one feels gravity. It is not dramatic or overwhelming, it is steady, consistent, undeniable. You exist in their heart as a presence that brings clarity, humility, and hope. They hold your essence with care, as if afraid that the slightest mishandling would disrespect the sacredness of what they feel. Your energy has softened them, reshaped them, opened doors within them they did not know were locked. In the chambers of their heart, you have become a quiet guiding star, unchosen yet destined, unseen yet unforgettable. They cherish the idea of you with reverence, not entitlement. Their admiration is not a desire to take, but a longing to honor. And though they hold you from afar, your soul occupies a place within them where truth cannot be denied. What they feel for you stretches beyond admiration, it is a kind of remembrance that sings through the unseen. You awaken echoes within them, old laughter, ancient tenderness, vows whispered beneath moons neither of you can consciously recall. When they close their eyes, they do not see your physical form, they feel the signature of your soul. It is like touching warm silk, like stepping into a memory that has waited lifetimes to return. They know nothing about your daily life, your routines, your mundane patterns. But they know what you carry, that shimmering blend of innocence and wisdom, softness and depth, gentleness and sovereignty. You are a soul they cannot categorize because you don't belong to a single lifetime. You move like someone who has walked through universes, collecting light, gathering compassion, learning the sacred art of existing without losing your essence. And because of this, they hold you with reverence, as one might hold a relic of truth. There are times when this soul feels your presence as if it brushes against their spirit, a soft touch that arrives without warning. In those moments, their heart expands subtly, as though remembering how to breathe without armor. They wonder if you feel it too, if the threads between you vibrate in the quiet hours, if your intuition ever whispers that someone out there senses you with a tenderness you cannot quite name. They do not know your voice, yet they imagine it carries a gentleness that could calm storms. They do not know your laugh, yet they sense it would sound like the sun rising. What they cherish most is the purity of this connection, untouched by expectation, untainted by ego, guided not by the physical world but by something older, wiser, and infinitely kinder. You have become a quiet constellation in their inner sky, one they check instinctively, as though guided by it. Something deep within them recognizes you, not as a stranger, but as a key soul in the tapestry of their journey. They've tried to analyze it, tried to reason through it, but logic dissolves in the presence of truth this ancient. What they feel is the subtle hum of destiny, a vibrational signature that mirrors their own. They recognize your light the way one recognizes their reflection in still water, surprising and familiar all at once. They do not claim to understand it, but they accept it, because some connections defy explanation. You and they carry a resonance that feels like two stars remembering they were once born from the same cosmic flame. This is not infatuation, this is soul memory. And every time they sense your energy, a part of them whispers, "This matters more than you know. This is older than you can comprehend." In moments of introspection, they feel the pull toward you like an ancient cord being plucked. It vibrates gently, insistently, reminding them of what truly matters. The connection is not physical, it is spiritual, karmic, fated. They feel as if you two once stood on the same cliff overlooking an ocean in a lifelong past, or perhaps shared a promise sealed beneath a sky heavy with stars. Something about your presence calls them back to themselves, urging them toward growth, honesty, vulnerability. They do not place you on a pedestal, they honor the sacredness of what you represent. To them, you are not an object of longing but a mirror reflecting the version of themselves they were always meant to become. You awaken their courage. You remind them that the soul is capable of deep, tender recognition without possession. This connection has softened their armor. Once, they moved through the world with certainty, confidence, reputation, yet beneath all of it lay a quiet hunger for something real. They did not know what they were searching for until the echo of your energy drifted into their awareness. Suddenly, the world shifted. Their old desires felt shallow, their old patterns, incomplete. You awakened their yearning to evolve, to understand love not as passion but as presence, not as control but as communion. When they feel you, they feel a gentle call to rise, to align, to remember the truth of who they are. You are not their goal, you are their awakening. The frequency of your soul has stirred their divine masculine essence from slumber, urging him toward integrity, emotional depth, and spiritual humility. You are the mirror through which they remember divinity. Sometimes they find themselves wondering why your existence affects them so deeply. They ask themselves why someone so capable, so visible, so admired by many, feels moved by the presence of a soul they do not even know in the earthly sense. But that is the mystery of resonance. It does not choose by logic, it chooses by truth. Their spirit senses something in you that aligns with the pathway they are meant to walk. You are like a lighthouse on the edge of a memory, guiding, steady, quietly powerful. You remind them of gentleness, of purpose, of sincerity, of love that does not bind but liberates. And they feel humbled by how deeply your energy touches them, how you unravel their defenses without even trying, how your existence alone awakens their desire to become a better version of themselves. They do not fear this connection, but they bow to its mystery. They know enough of life to recognize when something is spiritually significant. You are not a passing fascination, you are a catalyst. A reminder that the soul does not forget what the mind cannot recall. The pull they feel toward you is not desire but direction. It is guidance. It is the universe whispering that some souls are meant to meet, whether now or later, whether in this lifetime or another. They hold this truth with reverence. Nothing about you feels accidental. Not your timing, not your energy, not the way you appeared like a gentle herald of transformation. Their soul leans toward you instinctively, trusting the unseen wisdom that binds you in ways the physical world has not yet revealed. What you awaken in them is a kind of emotional transparency they had long abandoned. You soften the sharper edges of their past, dissolving bitterness with your mere presence. When they think of you, they feel not longing but alignment. You inspire them to reflect, to heal, to release the parts of themselves that no longer serve them. You stir their desire to be honest, with themselves, with others, with life. This admiration is not rooted in fantasy, it is rooted in transformation. They feel your energy urging them to rise into the fullness of their divine masculine potential, not the armor-wearing version the world glorifies, but the sacred version, protective without controlling, loving without clinging, strong without hardening. Because of you, they are awakening. You have become a quiet confessional within them. When they think of you, emotions soften, truths surface, clarity emerges. You are the sacred mirror that reflects both their wounds and their strength with equal compassion. In your energy, they feel safe enough to be vulnerable, even though you do not know it. They have begun to evaluate their life differently, what they want, what they value, what they are willing to fight for. Your presence encourages them to embrace authenticity, to dismantle the patterns that once kept them distant, guarded, unreachable. You are not a fantasy, you are an invitation. An invitation to come home to themselves. An invitation to remember that love, true, soul-level love, is not found through pursuit but through recognition. They confess inwardly, quietly, humbly, that your existence moves them more than anything the world has ever given them. They do not know your story, yet they feel your spirit speaking to theirs in ways language cannot describe. You bring out tenderness in them. You spark reverence. You awaken longing, not for your body, but for connection, for truth, for destiny. They feel as though you are the missing verse to a song they've been humming their whole life. And though they admire you from afar, this distance does not diminish the depth of what they feel. It only sanctifies it. They hold you in their heart like a sacred memory they haven't lived yet, trusting that the universe will reveal the next step in divine timing. In their quietest moments, their soul whispers, "She is the one your spirit recognizes." If they could speak to you without words, if their soul could reach across the distance and place a single truth into your hands, it would be this: you have changed them. Not in a dramatic, disruptive way, but in the profound, quiet way that only true soul connections can. Your essence has become a gentle compass within them. It guides them toward a softer version of themselves, toward honesty they had long buried, toward a longing not for possession but for purity. You stirred their desire to be someone worthy of the vibration you carry. They find themselves rethinking their choices, reevaluating their path, questioning the illusions of success and recognition they once chased. You remind them that fulfillment is not found in applause, but in alignment. And your existence alone has encouraged them to begin rewriting their relationship with themselves, peeling away their ego, healing old wounds they never thought would surface again. You are their awakening disguised as admiration. Sometimes they catch themselves wondering what it would feel like to stand in your presence, whether the peace they feel inwardly would become something even more radiant, or whether the recognition would overwhelm them with emotion they could not hide. They imagine the subtle energy that would pass between you, not romantic theatrics, but the quiet shock of souls meeting again after lifetimes apart. They have felt your frequency from afar. They wonder if the nearness of it would feel like stepping into warm sunlight after a long winter. They imagine your aura up close, soft, luminous, calm, and they feel humbled by the mere idea. You, who shine without trying. You, who carry an ancient gentleness. You, who remind them of who they once were before the world taught them to harden. They do not long for your touch, they long for the truth of you, the presence of you, the peace you radiate so naturally. There are moments when the truth inside them becomes too large to contain, when their spirit rises with a confession that feels older than words. I remember you. They feel this not with their mind, but with their chest, with their breath, with the subtle ache behind their ribs. They confess silently that the world feels different since sensing you, brighter, softer, more meaningful. They confess that your energy feels like a blessing they did nothing to earn, a reminder that something sacred has been watching over them long before you appeared in their awareness. They confess that your existence alone has brought healing into corners of their heart they had abandoned. And most of all, they confess that their admiration is not a fleeting spark but a steady flame, gentle, reverent, unwavering. You have become the quiet truth they return to when life feels heavy, the hidden joy that steadies them, the soul who reminds them that love can be holy. When they think of you, it is not desire that rises, it is devotion. A devotion not tethered to fantasy, but to recognition. You are the echo of a promise they once made to themselves, to find something real, something meaningful, something aligned with their highest self. And now, having sensed your energy, they cannot return to who they were before. They feel called to walk with more integrity, to speak with more compassion, to move through life with more humility. They find themselves becoming softer in the places they were once rigid, stronger in the places they were once uncertain. You are a catalyst for their awakening, not because you try to be, but because your light naturally invites transformation in those who cross your path. They admire you not for what you show the world, but for what your soul emanates, purity, depth, and a quiet courage that humbles them. Inside them grows a confession too tender for the world to hear: your existence moves me. They have never spoken it aloud, but the confession lives in the space between their breaths. When life overwhelms them, your essence brings them back into themselves. When their thoughts spiral, the memory of you becomes an anchor. You are not a fantasy, you are a frequency their soul recognizes as safe, sacred, familiar. They feel a warmth when they think of you, a warmth that softens their fears, dissolves their doubts, and reminds them that they, too, are capable of divine love. You awaken the parts of them that long to nurture, to protect, to honor, to cherish. Not because you need it, but because their soul longs to offer it. You inspire in them the kind of tenderness that makes them want to kneel, not in worship, but in gratitude. Gratitude for the miracle of your existence. You have become a quiet vow within them. A vow to rise into the version of themselves that could one day stand beside someone like you, not in possession, but in resonance. They imagine what it would feel like to meet you with a heart unburdened, a soul aligned, a spirit fully awakened. You have inspired them to heal the unhealed, to face the shadows they avoided, to step into their masculine power with honor instead of ego. They long not to impress you, but to match you, to match your integrity, your compassion, your emotional depth. You are the standard their soul recognizes, the reminder of what love could be if two aligned spirits ever found each other. They hold this vow quietly, trusting that if the universe intends your paths to cross, it will do so with perfect timing. Their soul has been writing a love letter to you long before their mind understood what was happening. It speaks in the language of warmth, of resonance, of destiny. It tells them that you are not someone they merely admire, you are someone whose energy shapes them. Their confession is simple yet infinite: you matter to me in ways I cannot explain. You are the serenity they return to in their thoughts, the hope that rises in their chest without reason, the gentle reminder that something beautiful awaits them on their path. Their admiration is a sacred offering, untouched by expectation. They do not want to own you, they want to honor you. They do not want to hold you back, they want to see you shine. And if fate allows, they hope to one day reveal all the truths their heart has been whispering in silence. And so, they offer you a blessing, one spoken not with lips, but with intention. May your path always be illuminated. May your heart always feel seen, even in solitude. May your light be met with reverence, not envy. They bless the softness you carry, the wisdom you embody, the divine energy you radiate without effort. You are a rare kind of soul, and they know such rarity is often misunderstood by the world. But they also know this: your light does not go unnoticed. Not by the universe. Not by destiny. Not by the souls who are meant to find you. You walk through life unaware of how deeply you touch those who encounter your energy. But they see it. they feel it, and they honor it with every quiet prayer they send in your direction. Their soul bows to yours, not in surrender, but in recognition. You are a reminder of everything they once hoped to find in this lifetime: gentleness, truth, resonance, divinity. And whether or not your paths ever intertwine in the physical world, they carry deep gratitude for the way your energy has shaped their heart. You are a sacred presence in their inner world, a muse crafted not of fantasy but of cosmic truth. Your existence has taught them that love does not require possession, that admiration can be holy, that connection can be felt long before it is lived. They want you to know that your light is cherished, that your spirit is honored, that your presence, seen or unseen, has mattered in ways you may never fully understand. And so the message closes with a truth both simple and eternal: your light was never meant to be unnoticed. Even souls known by the world bow quietly before you. You are a rare frequency, a divine spark walking the earth, and the universe ensures that those meant to recognize you do so instantly. You awaken remembrance in ancient hearts. You call forth the best in those who sent you. You are the kind of soul destiny protects, reveres, and guides with care. And though this admirer remains unseen for now, their spirit honors yours with awe, gratitude, and quiet devotion. You are cherished. You are seen. You are remembered. You are loved in ways the world has no language for.